Well, Gonzalo, so you are the co-founder and executive director of Bay Area Peacekeepers, and tonight we want to hear a street soldier's story. We're wanting to hear about the journey. We want you to tell your story, how it started, the turning point, and what you're doing now that's making a difference. So yeah, let's hear your soldier's story.
Well, for me, just living a hard life at a young age. My father was an activist in the 60s and the 70s. Well educated. Went to UC Berkeley. Graduated from Boat Hall. So I grew up around the movement. I grew up around going to marches, marching with Cesar Chavez.
Wow.
My dad going into a lot of meetings, meeting with the Black Panthers back in the days, trying to get the Latinos together with the African American community and also the Native American community. So I grew up around all that movement and stuff. But at the age of 10, my parents split up, and it was a big impact on me. But at the time, because my dad was doing a lot of things, he was educated. He was actually executive director of an organization out in Richmond called the Concilio. And they had an East and a West, and they worked on the movement for the young folks, but not only for just Latinos, but also with the African American community in Richmond around education. I had my first daughter when my wife, well, at the time she was my girlfriend, was in high school, and then that following year we had another child. Didn't really know about birth control or anything. Nobody told us about how to slow down the process. We had to learn the hard way to have two back to back. Learn the hard way having kids back to back. And but I was still out there doing. I had got a job working at the Army base, kind of moving up. But I was still infected. I still had an infection of being a gang member. So I knew how to conduct myself, because my dad was educated, and we went around to things and in many places and stuff like that. So I knew how to conduct myself when I needed to, and I knew how to be hard.
And you grew up in the movement. You were exposed to the movement.
Exactly.
Right.
So I had them leadership skills. So when I went to work, I moved up over at the Army base. But when I got off BART and got back home, I was riding with my friends, jumping in the car, getting into it with folks, shooting at individuals, getting shot back at, and not even thinking that the same vehicle that I'm using, that my wife and kids are in that vehicle during the day while I'm at work.
Wow.
And one night, my wife was driving home, and it was right around over in Central, over in one of the areas that I work in, right off of 6th in Nevin. She was at the light, and another car was there, and when she went to cross, the car got shot at. And
oh my goodness.
And that was my turning point right there, because thank God at the time I was starting to go to church, and I was able to kind of just realize, and God just kind of spoke to me and said, anything could have happened, but nothing happened. It didn't matter who your family was, who your friends were, how many friends you had, how many guns. I could have had a tank, I could have had armies, but at that moment, it didn't matter. And that was my turning point right there. And I made a decision that I was gonna dedicate my life to saving kids. I've been cussed at, spit on,
it's a journey.
Threatened. But I stayed there. I just keep loving them. I said, and this is what I tell kids: look, if you really want to get involved with me, once you say yes and you make that commitment, I'm gonna be on you. I'm gonna wrestle with you. I'm gonna chase you down. We're gonna make this happen. No matter what mistakes you make. I use this word hate, and a lot of people don't like when I say that, hate. But I tell them, I don't hate you. I hate the things that you do, the things that have the control over your life that you're not able to. You're not able to overcome. But let me show you how to overcome those things. And so I began to start working with Familias Unidas and develop some things, and started going with them. Start going with the kids to court, which was a new thing during that time, and making friends with judges and the public and the system and so forth, and probation, and then started going into the schools, and then going with them to their meetings and so forth. And
oh yeah, I see this where you are on a Friday afternoon Gonzalo Rucobo walks the halls of Richmond High School. There's nothing better than a living example, one who's been there, done that, understands, and is clear. So I think that would be a wonderful opportunity for you to go in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We'll be open to that.
Yeah, because we definitely, I mean, because what happens is these youngsters are burnt out of the, you know, because I was too when I was younger. It was the OG on the corner saying, hey, man, you know, don't do this. And then they're hitting the joint, you know, smoking up, and then they're drinking, and they got the nice car and the big rims. And they're saying go to school, but they're not being an example of change. And this is what we need. We need that example of change to come out, and so that it's visible and that they can feel and touch it.